They called it one of the strangest cases in American criminal history. A family of 4, gone. No signs of struggle, no forced entry, just gone. For 10 years, the case was cold. Detectives had no body, no witnesses, nothing. Until one day, against all odds, someone was convicted. Convicted without the bodies ever being found. It was a verdict that stunned even seasoned prosecutors. But the question no one could answer was, how did the killer pull it off? It started on a warm September morning in 2013. The Dawson family, Mark, his wife Linda, and their 2 kids, vanished from their quiet suburban home in Oregon. Mark's sister came by that afternoon. The house was unlocked. Breakfast plates still on the table. TV still on. But no family. Not even the dog. Police were called immediately. They searched the neighborhood. They checked hospitals. Nothing. Within days, FBI agents were involved, and the first detail they uncovered shocked everyone. Mark had been planning to testify in a high-profile fraud case against his own business partner. Investigators believed this could be motive, but there was no proof, just speculation. Security footage from a gas station 20 miles away showed Mark's SUV at 3:14 a.m., the night they vanished. The driver's face? Blurred. The passengers? 2 small figures slumped in the back. Detectives believed it was them, but the car was never found. Months passed. The media turned the Dawsons into national headlines, the vanishing family of 4. But then, an unexpected breakthrough. A hunter in a remote forest found a single item, a silver bracelet. Engraved on the inside, Linda. DNA confirmed it was hers, but there were no bones, no clothing, just the bracelet, lying in the dirt, miles from anywhere. Detectives doubled down on Mark's business partner, Stephen Rains. He denied everything, passed a polygraph, had an alibi. And then came the shock. Rains was arrested, charged with 4 counts of murder. Even with no bodies, even with no murder weapon. The prosecution claimed he'd hired someone, that he'd lured the Dawsons out of their home in the middle of the night, that the bodies were disposed of in a way they'd never be found. It was circumstantial, but the jury bought it. He was convicted. Life in prison. Case closed. Or so everyone thought. But here's where it gets truly bizarre. 3 years after Rains was locked away, a fisherman 800 miles away in Idaho pulled up something strange from a riverbed. A waterproof duffel bag. Inside, children's clothing, a man's watch, a family photo, water damaged but clear. It was the Dawson family. Detectives thought this would confirm the murders, but it did the opposite. Forensic analysis found no blood, no bullet holes, no knife cuts. The clothing was worn down for use, meaning someone had been wearing them long after the Dawsons disappeared. Then came the biggest twist yet. One of the shirts had a DNA profile, not belonging to the Dawsons, not belonging to Rains, not belonging to anyone in law enforcement files. A complete mystery. And here's where things spiral. The FBI ran the DNA against every possible database. Criminal, military, even genealogy sites. It came back with one strange hit. A closed adoption case from 1984. The man's identity? Officially sealed, legally protected. But someone inside leaked it. His name? Ethan Cole. Ethan had no criminal record, no fixed address, but dozens of aliases. The last confirmed sighting was 3 years before the Dawson family vanished, working as a security consultant for a private shipping company with offshore ties. And get this, one of his co-workers later indicted for human trafficking. Suddenly, the theory shifted. Maybe the Dawsons hadn't been killed. Maybe they'd been taken. But why? And by who? Then came the first true jolt. A retired customs officer in Washington claimed he'd seen the Dawsons, all 4 of them, boarding a cargo vessel under different names. This was 2 months after the supposed murders, and they weren't struggling. They were calm. The officer remembered one thing clearly. The man walking beside them was Ethan Cole. Agents started pulling every scrap of surveillance from ports along the West Coast. In grainy footage from Tacoma, they found them. Mark, bearded. Linda, hair dyed black. The kids wearing oversized coats. And Ethan, standing just behind, his hand on the boy's shoulder. This was explosive. It meant the Dawsons had left willingly, which made one question burn. Why was Stephen Raines serving life in prison for murders that never happened? The FBI quietly visited Raines in prison. When they told him the Dawsons might be alive, his reaction stunned them. He laughed. Then he said, "You're finally catching up." Raines admitted he knew the Dawsons were alive, claimed they'd made a deal to vanish, in exchange for testifying in another much bigger case involving cartel money laundering. But before they could testify, he said, someone higher up ordered them off the grid, permanently. Raines swore he didn't kill them, that he'd taken the conviction to protect them, because if he'd fought it, they'd all be dead. The agents left shaken. If this was true, then someone inside law enforcement had staged the entire conviction to cover up a witness relocation, or something darker. A journalist digging into the case found a series of offshore bank transfers, millions of dollars, moved through shell companies. One recipient, a private island in the Philippines, and the listed property manager, Ethan Cole. Satellite images showed several small homes on the island and one playground. The journalist published the photos online. Within 24 hours, the website was taken down, her email account wiped, her apartment ransacked. She went into hiding. By now, whispers in the FBI were turning into full-blown paranoia. Agents stopped using official email to discuss the case. Every meeting was off record. And then an anonymous envelope arrived at the Portland field office. Inside, a single USB drive. On it, a short, shaky video clip. It showed Linda Dawson sitting on a bench under palm trees. She looked older, thinner, but she was smiling. One of the kids, now a teenager, was beside her. They were speaking, but no audio was captured. And just before the clip ended, Ethan Cole walked into frame and looked directly at the camera. Facial recognition confirmed it. The footage was recent, within the last 6 months. That means one thing. The Dawsons were still alive, and someone was keeping them there. But here's where it goes from strange to terrifying. 2 weeks later, an FBI analyst working on the case didn't show up to work. Her apartment door was unlocked. Her phone was gone. On the kitchen table was a single note: "Stop looking." That same night, Mark Dawson's sister received a call from a blocked number. The voice on the line. She swears it was Mark. He told her not to trust anyone, that
They were watching her. Then the line went dead. The FBI now faced a nightmare. If they pushed too hard, they risked the Dawsons' lives. If they backed off, the truth might vanish forever. And still, no one knew who they were. But last month, a man claiming to be a former operative for a private security firm reached out to a true crime podcaster. He said Ethan Cole wasn't just some drifter. He was a specialist in disappearance engineering, paid to erase people, physically, digitally, legally. And the Dawsons were his masterpiece. Before the podcaster could air the interview, the man vanished, and 2 unmarked SUVs were seen outside her house.
The house. Now, the case has reached a boiling point because a second USB drive has surfaced, this time sent directly to the journalist in hiding. She hasn't opened it yet. She says she's afraid because the note taped to it reads, "Part of the truth will cost you everything." The question is, what's on that drive? Evidence that clears Rains? Coordinates to the Dawsons' location? Or something so dangerous it could bring down everyone involved? If she opens it, there's no going back, and someone out there will do anything to stop her. Part 2. The truth comes out. Subscribe to our channel so you don't miss it.